up for Mark Thompson!
All right, friends, how y'all doing today? How y'all feeling? Feeling good. I am feeling so good. I am so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that you all are here. And listen, throughout this talk, I'm gonna need some stuff from y'all, all right? I'm gonna need some participation. So right now, right where you are, if you can get your right hand and your left hand up, right in a safe position, people. All right, here's what we're gonna do. On my count, we're gonna clap in unison, one clap. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me get a double clap. 1, 2, 3. Let's take it home with a triple clap. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's how I'm feeling great, feeling good. All right, friends, so my name is Mark. I work as a developer relations engineer over at Google, and welcome to my talk entitled, Making Your Cross-Platform Dreams Come True, dang, with the modern web. Now, that is a long title, but that's because the story has been around for a long time. You see, developers have been after this idea that you can have a cross-platform solution for decades. This is not a new story. Let me tell you who kicked this thing off. Remember our friend Java? They came, that's what I'm talking about. They came on the scene hot. They said, listen, friends, listen. You're tired of making it for BSD. You're tired of then compiling for Linux. You're tired of compiling for DOS. You write it once, and then you run it everywhere. And everybody was like, that sounds good. Does that sound good to you? Give me a power clap. That's right. See, that power clap is working for y'all. And so they're thinking about it, and they're saying, yeah, this is a solution. So, but why do we even care about this? Why is this even important? Why are we going after this goal? Because we have one goal. There's one goal behind cross-platform. This is the main reason. You want to reduce the cost. You want to reduce the cost of expanding your teams. Today, we're talking about mobile. So now you have to reduce the cost of expanding your team for Android and iOS. How many Swift developers we got in here? Anybody writing Swift code? Now, who writes Kotlin code? But who writes web code? You write some JavaScript? Do you write some CSS, some HTML? See, that's the value. You can reduce the cost. And here's how you're going to reduce the cost, friends. Listen, there's an opportunity out there because, yes, project managers and engineering managers are so excited. We get one team that get to do the whole app and we get to deploy it everywhere. But what about my weekend warriors? What about my indie hackers, my side project professionals? You need a solution too, and there's an opportunity for you to get your dreams out of your head, out of your notebook, and out into the world with a cross-platform solution. And I'm here to argue, or at least tell you that I believe with my whole heart that the web, the modern web, not the old web that you were using for your GeoCities, not the old web that was a part of your MySpace page. I'm talking about the modern web. That is your solution, friends. Because we're after the reuse factor. That's what I want, is the reuse factor. I want you to reuse the skills that you already had. When I just asked you, who writes for the web? What did you all do? Your arms went up so fast like I was handing out free cell phones. Your arms flew right up because you know that world. You know it, you feel it, you live there. So I want you to reuse those skills. You don't have to learn something new for this. Reusing the code. Right now, you can't reuse your Kotlin code on iOS unless you use, well, somebody's gonna tell me, well, Mark, what about Kotlin multi-platform? I'm not talking about that, all right? If you have Kotlin code, you have Kotlin code. If you have Swift code, you have Swift code. But if you have web code, that web is for you, and it is going to work for you no matter if you're on a phone, a tablet, you on desktop. Reuse that code. And then, reuse this remote control. Reuse your teams. You reuse your teams because now you don't have to hire anybody new. It's already hard enough to get talent. Most of you, if not all of you, get emails every day from a recruiter with a brand new opportunity that they think you'll be in love with. It's hard to hire. So this is in your favor. See, when I built my first company, I looked for a cross-platform solution because why? It was only one of me. Just me. We got the indie hackers out here. You know that story. You have to make that hard decision up front. Is it going to be iPhone because they pay, or is it going to be Android because it's a really, really wide market? Why can't it just be both? Why can't you have it all? Because you can. So, I know there are people out there who may be feeling, well, what about the existing solutions? We already got this, Mark. You're talking about the web, buddy. Your shirt is too tight and it's hot, and you're talking about the web and we got something already. But let me tell you, yes, we do have solutions. React Native is great. Flutter is great. Xamarin is great, all right? Capacitor for hybrid apps. Yeah, all that stuff is great, but guess what you have to do with all of these solutions? You gotta learn something new. If you don't know React, you have to learn it. If you don't know Dart and you don't know Flutter, you have to learn it. If you don't know C#, you have to learn it. But y'all just told me you were web devs. Is that what y'all said? You said you were web devs. Why not use the modern web? Why wouldn't you let the modern web take you where you want to go? And again, I'm telling you, I'm not a hater of these cross-platform solutions. I'm telling you, they are good. They are good. But I just have something I think is a little bit better for you. Let's talk about the mobile web. All right. I need something else. I told you in the beginning, I needed stuff from you. Whenever you see this on the screen, I need you to go, but Mark, the same way you would ask your parents, all right? Let me hear you do it. But Mark. All right, every time you see that, now remember that one. Now here's an app that I made using the modern web. It's built with Angular and a CSS framework called Ionic. All the APIs that I'm going to show you today are not specific to either technology. This is just me showing you the stack that I can use. Go ahead and scan this code. Get your phones out, scan this code, because this demo is super interactive because you're going to go through it with me at the same time. We're going to do this one at the same time. So if you want to do the demo with me and you want to see this stuff in action, go ahead and scan that code. I'll give you a second. Okay, we locked in. Give me a power clap on 3. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about. So what is Next Meal? Hey, this is just an app to help the people who face food insecurity. They can search through different food banks to see who has what they're looking for. Because right now the solution is what? You get a box of whatever you get. But maybe we can move toward a more sophisticated solution at some point where we can get the people more help. All right, just a demo, so if you want to take it and move forward with it, it always is open to take pull requests. Come on, look at y'all. But Mark, we need device APIs because that's what the people who do native, that's why they do native, right? You say, I don't want a website because I need the vibration. I don't want to do a website because I need the camera, friend. Come on, Mark. Quit playing with me so much. Let me tell you something. On the app right now, make sure your phone's vibrate is going, and then I want you to tap on those filters in the app. Is your phone vibrating? Okay, mine is. I'm kidding. When you tap those filters, your phone should be vibrating. Okay, and you got it. Okay, I didn't make that up. Okay, you got it. You know, I got something for you as well. Bow, that's for you. You can take that with you. All right, that's vibration, and I know what you're thinking, but Mark, come on, brother. The code that it must have taken you to wire this up would take weeks to do. Who wants to use that? You're right. Took a lot. No, it didn't. This is not even JavaScript. This is C++. Let me show you the code that it took to make that happen. That's what it took. I used the window, the global window for the browser. I get the navigator object, and then I just call vibrate. And then in the parentheses, that number represents how many times, for how long it's going to vibrate in milliseconds. If you want it to vibrate in a pattern, like a little zit, 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 you do 100, 100, 100. You see there? And this is the API that you need to do it. I added a little event handler that you've been writing already. Your forms have to submit, so you know how to write that event handler. You just toss that in there, and then when your people submit a form, you add a little vibration in there. What other device APIs are we talking about? Because you need more. Well, you got vibration. We just talked about that. You can't go to a website today without them asking you, can we have permission for your location? And y'all always saying no, I understand. But you also can get camera and microphone support in the browser right now. Right now, no plugins. No plugins required. And let me show you how. If you're in the app right now with me, go ahead, go to the app. On the lower right-hand side, there's a little help button. Go ahead and press that button. Now make sure you don't have nothing hanging out your nose or mustache because something special is about to happen. And once you hit that button, go ahead and press that call button. Now half of you press it, all right? Do you see yourself yet? Now somebody else who didn't press call, press answer. So one of y'all about to be on the video chat together. But this is another browser API that you get without all the drama, friends. Let me show you how I did it. Navigator again, coming from where? The window object. You see me? All right? You get the media devices, so what's available on your device? If you're on PC, you might have multiple cameras. You might have multiple microphones. You know the people, they got the podcast mic, they got that meeting mic, they got that fancy camera, they got the Logitech. Well, you can get all the devices, and you request which access you want. You want video or audio, or both, or neither. This is the API for that. This is modern. Can you say, this is modern? This is modern. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Duh. We need text that's not overlapping. We need it to work offline, all right? That's a big issue because guess what? You could be on the train. You could be in airplane mode in the sky. You need to work offline. Here's how you solve that problem with the modern web. Progressive web applications. All progressive web apps are your regular applications that you write right now. You create them right now, but you just add a few pieces of functionality. You just add a few pieces of functionality. Here's what you make sure they do. They work offline with some APIs that already exist. Guess what else? They become updatable. So when someone installs your app or it's offline, when you publish a new version, it'll update. That's built in for you. You don't have to write any code to go check a server. That's built in for you. And guess what else? It's installable because people want the app on the phone. You might say, well, Mark, my users, I don't want them to have to keep going to the URL. Well, once you convert your application to a PWA, you get that functionality built in, friends. It asks you to install. So when you visit those websites, they're like, would you like to install this app? That's what this is giving you. It's giving you all of that stuff. And, because I can feel the people saying, Mark, listen, bro, this is a good story, but I need to be in the App Store. I want to be official. I want them to search Google Play. I need them analytics. I feel you. There's support for deploying your PWA directly, Google Play. You can do it on iOS, and you can do it on Microsoft to their App Store. The modern web is looking really good. Can I get a power clap on 3? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Here's how you include that. So I'm using Angular for my app. You can use whatever you want. I'm on the Angular team, so of course I'm using Angular. We do ng. That is our tool, our command line tool for your application. The next thing you see is the command. To do what? Add. What are we going to add? PWA support. Now you might say, but Mark, you said this was a browser API, sir. This is Angular code. This is Angular. Okay, friends, all we've done on the Angular team was wrap it in some nice APIs for you to use with your Angular apps. But the APIs themselves are agnostic. They work for any tool. Any framework you want, you can make it a PWA. We just give you some nice convenience methods. All right? Yeah, I want y'all to sound annoyed because you're tired of seeing this. Do it one more time. Yeah. Here's the big problem. And this is a hard problem. This is a hard problem to solve. I'm gonna tell you. We need it to look and feel like a native app because there is a difference. You'd agree. You look at a website, you don't automatically think native apps. But if you look at the website that we've been looking at, did you notice the transitions when you were clicking on stuff, how it subtly start to fade in and fade out? How things start to slowly move and pop up? That's because there are UI tools out there to solve this problem for you. All right, and here's what they do to solve it. They use modern CSS, still a part of the modern web. They use modern CSS to make things happen, to get you your native styling. So you friends on Android, you got a different experience than our friends on iOS, and you didn't even know, but that happened for you. Here's another thing that happens. Some tools finely tune, meaning they spend time trying to mimic down to the T how those devices look and operate so that when a user uses something like this, they can't tell the difference. And the average user doesn't even care. I'm gonna be honest with you. The average user doesn't even care how your app looks. They care if it works. That's the big thing, does it work? You went to the RenderATL website like 50 times today. You did not care that it wasn't a mobile app. Because what did you need? Information and functionality. That's what you gotta chase, the information and functionality. So what I use to do our app, Ionic. There's just one person in this space who solves this problem. Not the only, but there's just one of them. Now, I've been hyping up the mobile web. You would think that somebody was paying me extra for this, the way I'm hyping up the mobile web. But I also have to be honest. It's not perfect, friends. It's not the perfect solution. Let me tell you where there's some opportunities for improvement. First and foremost, it is not for every use case. I wouldn't tell you to use the mobile web for everything. There are use cases where it makes sense and where it doesn't. You might have a requirement of 60 frames per second with a lot of data and visualizations. The modern web on mobile might not be up to snuff for it. And that's okay, because how many of you need that? Out of the whole crowd, maybe 2% of you need it. But most of you need information and functionality. Let's keep going. Browser compatibility. Here's what's really weird. There are some browsers from some major providers of phones that start with S and end with RE that are restricting some of the modern browser APIs just yet. So you friends on that Fruit device, the problem is you don't get all the modern web just yet because the browser on there has not implemented. That is just their choice. They're coming around slowly, but what does that create? A lack of feature parity, where for some people it will work out of the box, some people it won't. But this is a con, so you have to think about that. And then finally, some of the best stuff is not here yet. It's coming, it's in the proposal, they're looking at it, they're talking about it, but we don't have it. Perfect example, I just told you about device APIs. What if you want to connect and control your Bluetooth headphones? You can't do that just yet. The API is under development, but it's not out yet. So that doesn't serve you when you got to go to market in 3 months. That doesn't help you. So you have to look at the use case and make sure it fits your story, friends. All right, let me give you my opinion. This is your path to figure out what you need, because you still may be thinking, but Mark, I need something else. This is what I think how you should approach it. I want you to start off, make a responsive website, make sure it's accessible and responsive. Start there. That is the bare minimum, and most of your users will be happy. Start there. Next, if you feel like you want that offline support and you need it, and you need the caching, and you need all these updates, and you want to be installable, all great goals. When you reach that need, then you convert your existing responsive web into a PWA. Next, you're like, well, Mark, I really do. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm going to get fired tomorrow if this phone doesn't have Bluetooth support. All right, I need that. Okay, then you use something like Capacitor, which takes your HTML app, and it has native plugins that you wrap your code in. It's just a wrapper, okay? And then you can use that to get to those device APIs. And then, only then, am I going to tell you start going for the cross platforms like the Flutter, the React Native, right, the Xamarin. Only then would I tell you that, because if you haven't solved your problem up to there, okay, that makes sense. But how fast can you ship with the skills that you already have with these technologies that are available to you right now? And then if cross-platform doesn't work, because here's the problem with cross-platform. It is good until the OS API updates and you don't have access. Or there's a plugin that doesn't work that is implemented for native, like you want Google Maps. Well, there isn't a good Flutter plugin just yet, right? When you hit that wall, right? That's when you go to the native. And peace be with you as you write for both platforms. My heart is with you. I really care about you, and I want you to win. And I just gave you the secret on how to do it. All of this, what's the point? Why do I have you out here baking in this sun with these hot headphones on? because I want you to reduce the cost of shipping. You gotta get your apps out there, friends. You gotta get out there and win, capture the market that you've been dreaming about. Do the thing that you can't stop telling your friends about. I want you to ship now. I want you to ship now. The modern web gives you access to everything that you need. And if it falls short, you have a roadmap on how to go forward. The web is so much better than you remember. It's so much better than you remember. And it is more powerful than you can imagine, friends. All right, that's it. If you want the resources for this talk, scan this code and you can get them. My name is Mark, and I have had a blast with all of you. Thank you.